Okay, y'all. So if you guys did not catch part one, you absolutely have to catch part one, or else you're going to be a little bit lost and confused. And the last thing that I want to do is confuse you guys, because we talk about what it truly, really means to be a biblical Christian, okay? Not a modern day Christian, not a whatever religion you find yourself in, because this is not about religion, it's about relationship. One of the key points that I want you to remember for the rest of your life is that if a person or a thing is not in its natural environment, it will die. And as a person who is a child of the Most High King, if you are not in your natural environment, which is the Bible because it comes from heaven, you will not succeed in this life to your fullest. Now, hear me out. To your fullest capacity. And when I mean fullest capacity, I mean in your own joy, your own peace, your own triumphs, then your family's peace, triumphs, health, wealth, and then riches on the earth, and then in his purposes for your life. Because if you follow all of the biblical stories, they end in triumph if the person follows the Most High King, giving all of their heart, all of their mind, and all of their souls, keeping them wrapped up in the Bible, which is where the relationship with the Most High can be nurtured and watered. Unfortunately, in this day and age, it cannot be watered through church. It cannot be watered through community. If that community is not tapped into a biblical pursuit of holiness, a godliness that is not conforming to a modern day whatever. And unfortunately, we have so much of that. And the only person, like I will always say, the only person that's going to suffer is you and your generations for it. Because why? God gives us 24 hours in the day to choose ye who you will serve. Because you cannot serve both. You either choose to serve the Most High King, or you choose to serve mammon, money, religious a system, a worldly system. And you would either love one and hate the other. So which one will you choose? So now we talked about what it is to be a true person that follows the Most High King and what true Christianity is. But now we need to understand what that word was. Remember, the perfect law. Everybody wants to jump up and talk about freedom, and modern day Christianity will have you jumping up. Ooh, we're free in everything that we do. We have grace, we have grace, we have grace. And then when your life hits some real challenges, your marriage is on the rocks, your financial stability is shattered, you cannot connect with people, you're depressed because you know you're meant for something deeper, you can't put your hand on it, whatever it is under the sun. A generational curse is coming for us all, whether it be today, tomorrow, 5 years down the line, 3 years down the line, 20 years down from the line. It's a generational curse, and it aims to wipe out your generations. And you cannot be on milk to battle these demons. You have got to be in covenant. So we're going to talk about one of the biggest lies that you have to unlearn when you are walking in this way, in the way that the Most High King wants you to walk. You have got to uncover the way in which he wants you to walk, not what you've been taught. Because nobody's going to be there when you're crumbling, when you're crying, and the people, listen, nobody's going to solve your problems and love you more than the Most High King. He sends people to reaffirm, but at the end of the day, it all stems from him. So if you aren't truly prioritizing him, you really aren't truly loving yourself. And that's something that I had to learn. Whenever we prioritize anyone else, it's a form of self-hate, not a form of self-love. Because God sent everything for us to flourish because we are his children. But if we are not connected to him, and we are connected to everything else that has replaced him as God, then we cannot accurately and fully see and love ourselves. And we are wasting away because of it. That's why it is your job, not anyone else's, to pursue the Most High King for yourself and your family. Not your pastors, not your preachers, not even me. I'm only here to water. I'm only here to give you guys what God has given me through my wrestling with him and through the conquering of every demonic thing that was meant to take me and my family under. And I'm giving it to you today. All I need is about a good 5 to 7 more minutes, so hold on tight. But today we're going to talk about how people always say, oh, you don't need the Old Testament. That's absolutely the most incorrect thing that is keeping us in bondage. And if you love yourself, you will take the next 7 minutes and say, what is this girl talking about? And you will listen to this, and you will go and pray in your quiet places, and you will ask the Lord humbly to disturb your spirit if what it is that you are believing is a half-truth. God, I wish I would have done this sooner, but I didn't. But that's okay. I'm still here by God's grace to talk to you about it. And because I chose to go under covenant with him and not believe a half-truth, I chose to stop believing a half-truth and to cry out to my dad, who loves me, who doesn't want to see me suffer for no reason, who doesn't want to see me die because of a lack of knowledge. Remember, he said, my people shall perish because of lack of knowledge. Not other people on the street. They don't believe in him. They're going to do whatever they want. But he said, my children, my people. That's you, that's me, that believes in the Most High King. But yet we do not have his power because we do not understand the way that he is asking us to follow. So drop religion into relationship and let's read. Now, when you hear about all of this, you say, okay, we're not supposed to follow the Torah. The Torah, once again, is the 5. That's why I said go back and listen to the other one. But it's the 5 chapters of the Bible, the first 5 chapters of the Bible, where it gives you, after Moses and the children of Israelite were delivered from Pharaoh, it gives you what it is that you should follow, the holy days, the feast that you should follow, and how you should live your life. It gives you a lot of rules, quote unquote, that people say that we are supposed to abandon. But if you dig deep into those rules, if you analyze the Bible and go deep into their rules, simple rules like we should wear linen. And you will see how the cotton is made in this earth and why linen actually makes our blood circulation. It's the depths of God that we have to be after, not after the religion, because as you can see, even in the Bible, when he put linen, when he said you have to be clothed with linen, you will see that when you study why he said linen, the linen actually promotes blood circulation that keeps you from the cancers and all that stuff, but cotton doesn't. Polyester doesn't. Come on now. It's because we don't love ourselves because we were taught from a religion that doesn't love us. Religion hates you. Relationship loves you. So when you look at the Bible from a religious perspective, you can't see why the first 5 books of the Bible are so powerful. But when you choose, listen to me, it's a choice. When you choose to take this into your mind and humble yourself and say, Father Yah, whatever it is that you have for me, I will not die on this planet without giving you what you set me on this planet to give you. So if this is the truth, I will walk alone in it. I will find my way in it. And once you have that heart, that humble heart, but that heart that will pursue him, he will open up the floodgates of heaven. But he'll first start to undo the things that are in here, the things that keep you in bondage. When you start to love this more than you start to love everyone and anything else. Because you can't do anything for anyone else if you're not good to him anyway. You can stall it, you can try to do whatever, but we can't. Now let me go in because it's kind of long. So, but it's necessary. It's necessary. Think about it like if you were on life support, because we are without it. If you're on life support and the only thing that can save you is understanding this, that's what it is. So let's go ahead and take the time to honor it in the way that it should be honored. So we're going to go ahead and start with Hebrews 9. Now, the church always tells you, you do not have to go against the law. You don't have to do what they did in the Old Testament because Jesus did it. I'm not making a mockery out of this because listen, I believe in the Most High King and I believe in Yeshua, which is what people call Jesus. I believe in him. But I do not believe in what we have been taught and trained to think. I believe in it from the biblical way. And when y'all see this, y'all will see why I'm talking about it the way I am. Okay? Not making a mockery out of him, but making a mockery out of the foolishness that we were taught to believe. But we're not foolish anymore, so we're going to continue on. The sacrifice of the new covenant. Now, mind you, what does the Torah teach you? The Torah teaches you what to follow. The Torah teaches you what to follow, and it teaches you how to follow. So that means every single day that you live, it should be guided by his laws, because in his laws are his protection for you. Now, we're going to see what Jesus, i.e. Yeshua is his name, what he actually came to do. Now, and let me pause here because I need to talk to y'all about why I'm so putting an emphasis on the real name, because I want y'all to understand that you have the power, once you truly give room to faith and relationship with the Most High King, to go against any demonic force that may have tried to live in your mind. Because we do not fight the battles of the flesh and blood, but spirituality and principalities in high places. That's in your mind, in the spirit. So I'm reframing the way I say things, because in aligning myself under the word of God and what he has taught me and how he has walked with me. And I'm saying all of those things because I want you to understand you have the same power once you believe and do the things that are in this word. You're a generational curse breaker. And we just got to walk in it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what it is that Jesus actually came to do. Now, the sacrifice of the new covenant. Now, the first covenant also had regulations. Stick with me, even if it's long. If you can stick through a 30-minute Netflix video, you can stick through this, because this is not just for you. It's for your children's children. It's there to break the generational curses that you are fighting, that you don't even know that you're fighting. This is what it's here for. So it's worth this next 10 minutes to just hear me out, because it's not me, it's the Bible. Now, the first covenant also had regulations for ministry and earthly sanctuary. For a tabernacle was set up in the first room, which is called the holy place, where the lampstand, the table, and the presentation loaves. So now I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to skip this part because I want to get to the meat and the potatoes of it for this talk. Okay, we'll go back to it. But if you go all the way down to Hebrews 9:11, but Christ has appeared as a high priest of the good things that have come in the greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made of hands, that is not of this creation. He entered in the most holy place once for all time, not by the blood of the goats and the calves, but by his own blood. Listen, they're not mentioning the holy days. They're not mentioning the feast days. They're mentioning the sacrifices. Come on now. Listen to what he's saying he's getting rid of. He's not saying that he's getting rid of what you should follow. He's not saying he's getting rid of the Feast of Passover. He's not saying that he's getting rid of the Day of Atonement. He's not saying all of those things that are a part of the Torah. Listen to what he's getting rid of. Listen to what Yeshua came to fulfill, to perfect, because it's all written and hidden in plain sight. But we've had teachers that are ready to fill their own pockets before they're ready to fill you, and God will account for it. But good thing on this planet, he has made me accountable to him, and I will do the thing that is necessary for our lives, for your life and for my life, to be saved and our children's children. Amen. For he entered the most holy place once for all time, not by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, having obtained eternal redemption. For if the blood of goats and bulls and ashes of the young cow, sprinkling those who are defiled, sanctify for the purification of the flesh, how much more will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without blemish to God, cleanse our consciousness from dead works, so that we serve the living God? I want y'all to understand this. He's saying that the goats and the animals was not enough to keep us from eternal damnation, that he needed something stronger. It's like if you're sick, you need a stronger dose of something, not to remove everything, right? Come on now. Therefore, he is the mediator. And let me pause back. Look at what he said. To cleanse our consciousness from dead works so that we can serve the living God. This is the whole point. So we can serve the living God in the way that he's asked us to serve him. So there's no intermediary except for the blood of Yeshua. But that doesn't mean that we get rid of everything else except for the sacrifices. We don't get rid of the other stuff. It's all here. He's not telling you that. This is instruction for your life. He's not telling you to get rid of those things. Let's continue to read. Therefore, he is the mediator of the new covenant. So that, and then when you see new covenant, if you see at the C at the bottom, you can see that, in the transcripts, you can see that a lot of these things point back to the Old Testament. Come on now. I don't want to confuse y'all, so I'll keep reading because it'll all make sense if we just read it from a relationship perspective, from a place that he loves us. So therefore he is the mediator of a new covenant so that those who are called might receive the promise of the eternal inheritance, because a death has taken place for redemption from the transgressions committed under the first covenant. The first covenant he had to get rid of because it was not strong enough to remove all of the sins that we constantly do every single day. Where a will exists, the death of the one who made it must be established. For a will is valid only when people die, since it is never in effect while the one who made it is living. That is why even the first covenant was inaugurated with blood. For when every command had been proclaimed by Moses to all the people according to the law, listen, according to the law, he took the blood of calves, goats, along with water, scarlet wood, hyssop, and sprinkled the scroll itself and the people, saying, "This is the blood of the covenant that God has ordained for you." In the same way, he sprinkled the tabernacle and all the articles of worship with blood. See, this is what the blood of Yeshua came to do. It came to sprinkle us every single day. So it doesn't mean, if you read this line by line, listen, the enemy is there to give you a half truth so you can live on life support. But this Bible will give you a full truth if you trust it. This is the blood of the covenant that God has ordained for you. In the same way he sprinkled the tabernacles and all the articles of worship according to the law, almost everything is purified with blood. And without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness. So you see, in the Torah, back in the day, the priest had to circle everything with blood. So during the holy days and the feast days and the days to make atonement for sins, people had to live as a priest. The Levites had to live as a priest. All of this will go through. But now we don't have to do that because we have the blood of Yeshua. But that does not mean that everything else is what we don't follow. He only came to get rid of that sacrifice, nothing else. So when you don't follow the holy days, the feast days, all of the things that we're going to talk about today and what the Torah is telling you to follow, you are left in a place of vulnerability because you are not under covenant. It's like you having a dad, a rich, wealthy, the most wealthiest dad in the world, but you deciding to live on the street and knocking at the gates and saying, "Daddy, can I come in?" And he's saying, all you have to do is wash your clothes in the water that I've provided for you right there. And you say, "Oh no, but people have said that water is gross." And he's like, "Well, go do that because I'm your father. So if you want to come to me, you need to do it by my way. I could care less what anybody else says." But we have a whole generation saying, "People said," instead of saying what God said. But we're going to hear what God has to say because it's his word. And it can talk better and much more than me. So in the same way, he sprinkled the tabernacle and all of the articles of worship of blood. According to the law, okay, so without shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness. Therefore, it was necessary, Hebrews 9:23. Therefore, it was necessary for the copies of the things in heaven to be purified with these sacrifices, but the heavenly things themselves to be purified with better sacrifices than these. The old covenant is not doing away with all of the holy days and the things that we're supposed to follow. It's only doing away with the blood sacrifices. Why? Because he spilt his blood on the cross. Very simple. But because we don't want to read the Bible anymore, that's why we've been deceived. And I'm reading it for y'all. This is in the New Testament. Come on now. It just hits me because I was deceived too, living my whole life deceived. What a shame. Therefore, it was necessary for the copies of these things. Okay. For Christ, this is 24. For Christ did not enter a sanctuary made with hands, only a model of the true one, but into heaven itself, so that he might now appear in the presence of God for us. He did not do this to offer himself many times as the high priest entered the sanctuary yearly with the blood of another. Remember, he's now the high priest. So he's taking away that role of what the high priest did, not everything else. Listen to what he's saying. Otherwise, he would have to suffer many times since the foundation of the world. But now he has appeared one time at the end of the ages for the removal of sin by the sacrifice of himself. And just as it is appointed for people to die once after this judgment, so also Christ, having been offered once to bear the sins of many, will appear a second time, not to bear sin, but to bring salvation to those who are waiting for him. And we're going to go into 10 in the next video. But in this video, I want you guys to remember, just remember this. When you read the Bible, just read it word for word. Don't add on anything else. Don't listen to your preacher. Go and read it for yourself. And the most important thing after you read your Bible is pray for a humble spirit to allow the Most High to guide you in the way that you should go. And that will be enough to save your soul, the souls of people that will listen to you, and the word that's on your life and your generations. Because that's at stake if you don't follow what his word says. Religion can't do it for you. Relationship can. Be blessed.